This is a tutorial on how to do the nuclear engineer job on Mutiny DarkRP Gmod. So first, what you do, get the coolant pumps, connect them to the reactor, generator to the pumps, and then insert fuel rod. I'm going to use one during this demonstration. Once you load it in, you will see reactivity starts to spike up, and that happens per rod. So you add another, it's going to go up even more, and then the standby, and then even more, so on. So first step, gotta adjust the drum separator because it's just gonna keep going up. So you lower it. Then once you get it near zero or close to zero, you put it at 48, and then it will stationary. This is the only time that it will be zero and it won't move. Every other time you're gonna have to do micro adjustments, and it'll either go +1 or -1, very slowly. That's your goal. And then what you do here is you open up the pump loops because you're gonna need flow of water. You don't got to worry about this too much right now. If you do it like this, you should be good if you're doing one. This mainly you need to scale upwards depending on how many fuel rods you do, because it will require more water to meet the grid demand. So once you have everything set up like this, go ahead and start it up. Then up the value to 17. Doesn't really matter where. I just do it at 17 because it's pretty simple to go from there. Then once you open that up, you want to start decreasing the rods. Now you can drop it to about 75 your first time, but after that you can't drop it quickly like that. You'll have to go in slower increments, or else the period right here will drop too far down and it will blow up the reactor. So you can lower it very slightly in this stage, and then eventually you'll have to do one by one. See, like that, if you do it too quick, if I were to go from 45 to say 20, this shit would blow up. Can't do that, so you have to go slow increments. Then essentially, we're just doing this all the way until the reactivity goes to about 30 to 37. Any more and it kind of trips out a little bit. Then once you get it down enough, like this will actually start changing by itself, either slowly up or negative, slowly negative at first, and then it goes quicker the lower the rods get. Once it's at about right here, just kind of chill, wait for the reactivity to up the core temp and the power. Because if you look at the charts before, it was stagnant. Then as you lower the rods, slowly starts to increase. Then eventually it will go from 0 to 1 and so on. Core temp, same thing. would say go ahead and skip. I'll put the timestamp down below because you just gotta wait at this point for reactivity to do its thing. So this is a little bit of a waiting game. It takes about 5-ish minutes.
Go green.
Alright, so now that we are gaining power, and the core temp is rising, reactivity is actually slowing down. So what you will need to do is continue lowering it one by one. And what I do personally is I don't go past 13 or 12. Depends on the fuel rods. One you can go like 12, and then or else the shows something over here. It's like OEM. So one of those it will say right here where it says it's super bad. That's if you put these too low, and it can cause a scram. So seems like someone else is trying to do it, but they're failing. So hopefully this shit doesn't fuck my shit up in this short period. So what you do, keep rising the reactivity to boost it up. And what you can do is once you're around 14, yeah, the ORM. Once, if you go too low, this drops too far down and it's bad. Now it's slowly going down because we are gaining more power and core temp, so it needs to cool down faster. So what we do is we up the feed water. And then now that we are upping the feed water, it is going down slowly. You gotta mess with this a little bit to find the right number, but once you do, then you are good. but you will have to keep auto adjusting it, because as power goes up, so will the power needed for this. So now what you can do, since reactivity is kind of slowing down right here, but you still need to raise the core temp. If you need to raise it a little bit more, what you can do is actually offset it, so then you gain more power and more temp and more reactivity. Now that it is producing a decent amount, if we go to here, we are actually making, oh shit, oh, it's tweaking out. So that is what you have to be careful for. You gotta be watching the drum separator level, because if this gets too high too quick, it is savable, but if it's at 500 about for too long, it will actually mess up. Now we are making money, and to make more money, what we have to do is meet the grid tracking demand. So what we do is adjust the turbine valve to such where it reaches the demand. And what we also need to do is adjust the feed water, so then this does not happen. So you just gotta keep messing with it until it goes down, and once this goes down, so will the grid tracking, it will go back up. And now you are making about 8 mil per rod. So if we were to add more, we would it would just essentially be the same, but more core temp, more power. You would need to up these, you would need to up this more, and you will be making more money. Now, to keep in mind, to continue staying to make this amount of money, you have to meet the grid demand. Without meeting the grid demand, you aren't making money. And you need to continue to watch that, like I was saying, or else it will mess up your grid demand as well. So now, making about, yeah, back to 8 mil. And this kind of stays around the same. Over time, it does drop, and that's why I recommend using the axial trim, because that will keep it around the same the level you want, while being able to make some money. And that's about it for the tutorial. Just keep an eye on this screen. This is the main screen that you will need to keep an eye on. And if you do that, you should be alright, making quite a bit of money per rod. And to cool down some rods, what you can do is actually just drop them like so, and over time that little bar will go down. That is the tutorial.